And I think we're live. So, good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Joey. And today we're doing an extra one because it's Saturday. Don't usually do them on Saturday, usually because we get a lot of people in, and also because sometimes there isn't enough new things out in a week. This week, I'm not going to have time to do everything. Somebody actually asked me if I could do a review of the Immortal She-Hulk. Unfortunately, we have no spec copies of it to read and review, I'm afraid. I ordered a couple of extras, and they were all snapped up like fairly quickly when I did the new comic book day video. So that's it. Unfortunately, if you've got a copy and you're lucky enough to have read it and enjoyed it, let me know what you think. But actually, me reviewing it, unfortunately, not going to happen. So I was looking at what we had left, and Brooklyn Gladiator sprung to mind. It's one of those that artistically is what's grabbed me on this one. Somebody asked me. That same person asked me to review She-Hulk. Who would be the greatest artist of the past 4 years? And there's no real way to answer that one because there's simply artists who do great things in different ways that appeal to me at different times. But one of the caveats I'd say to that is, well, who out there who's an artist, like any creator, who pushed the needle to the point where I might actually buy something that I wouldn't usually? Simon Bisley isn't quite that. Don't get me wrong. He's a very interesting artist. In fact, he does just absolutely great stuff. But it's not like the most commercially viable. It's that kind of scratchy lo-fi artwork that I really like. Kind of over-the-top lines, really rich, vibrant colors, stuff that jumps out the page. But it's also weird as hell and kind of hard to sell on people. This one particularly has quite a lot of nudity in it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, I suppose, if that's what you're after. But the page that I'm going to actually use as an example for why it might be a bit of an odd sell, that one. Because that's him, the main character, hallucinating on drugs, and that's the guy he's chatting to with, who just, because he's quite large, made a joke, we called him Jabba, and that's what his hallucinating mind has then created. There's a whole bunch of other artwork I can share, which is very, very different to that, because this is a cyberpunk comic through and through, and to do that you've got talking more like this dystopic dark future kind of stuff. And because I've reviewed a cyberpunk comic recently, and it's been a very popular video for us, this one has actually just gone far more into being cyberpunk. It's actually dealing with corporate control, the police being an agent of the state, which is in a somewhat obvious way in cyberpunk, an agent of corporations. There is technology which removes humanity from people and makes them feel less than real, and there's varying degrees of that one, and there's some stuff which you just can't do anything like. You can't survive in the world without some degree of technology. There's also the fact that there's people on an awful lot of drugs and crime is rampant and people have zero rights. All that kind of stuff is very much cyberpunk. Throwing some internet stuff on there, which I haven't really gone to for this one yet, and we are talking full on cyberpunk dystopic future, which is brilliant. There's also some absolutely amazing writing in it, but I hate to say it, the amazing bits they put in there are kind of the exception rather than the rule. The rather large gentleman who looks like a Cthulhu Jabba the Hutt, I showed you earlier, is very, very high throughout the entire thing, and he has just an almost poetic way of talking. It's a lilting kind of up and down manner of speech. There's occasional weird half rhymes and cut rhyme patterns in there as well, which if you study poetry, you probably actually really enjoy. But quite a lot of the rest of it is a little bit. You ever seen the movie Fifth Element? There's a few bits in it which very much remind me of that one, and there's some writing in the Fifth Element which feels like it's just really heavily leaning into the cyberpunk trope rather than being necessarily good writing. Some people may agree and may disagree with that one, but it feels like it's doing that a little bit. There's kind of like an over-reliance on city speak, where at this point in time I think that's, I don't know, almost cliche for a cyberpunk comic book to do that kind of thing. There's other things you can do. But, if you're leaning into cyberpunk as heavily as these guys are, I suppose the least you can do is show some deference to the genre of the creator that started the whole thing out. Now, it also has great action sequences in here. There's some rooftop chasers, which kind of get interspersed again with people being high. And that is probably something which goes in the con column for me when it comes to visualizations of drug experiences in comic books. I feel like they tend to fall into only a couple of categories, and they never, with one exception, they haven't ever really impressed me too much. And this is another one which, when you're dealing with the drugs as a major plot point, you kind of have to do it, but it doesn't quite land for me. Basically what I'm telling you is it's a great cyberpunk comic book with some really beautiful artwork, but the writing isn't as good as it can be, and the artistic representation of drug experiences aren't as good as they should be. it's just enough to take it from being like a really solid 4 to about a 3. Not great, I'm afraid, but it's fun. And to be honest, sometimes that's all you really need. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll be back on Tuesday probably with another review. Bye.